Good morning, boys and girls. Oh my goodness, after all that rain, I just had to read to you outside today. And you know what made me so happy this morning? Is I could hear the birds chirping, and that made my heart so happy because that told me that the rain had stopped for sure. And since I was thinking about birds, I love birds. I love birds. I love to hear them in my backyard. I have bird feeders all over, and they make me so happy. So I was thinking about a fun little bird book that I know, The Best Nest by P.D. Eastman. And look, it's like a Dr. Seuss book. Ooh, Mrs. Montana's got some crazy hair today. Let's read The Best Nest. Do you have birds in your yard? Maybe you have a nest in your tree, or do you even have a bird feeder like I do? I think it's so fun. All right. Mr. Bird was happy. Oh, remember, got to look right, sound right, and make sense. He was so happy that he had to sing. This was Mr. Bird's song. I love my house, I love my nest, in all the world my nest is best. Then Mrs. Bird came out of the house. It's not the best nest, she said. I'm tired of this old place, said Mrs. Bird. I hate it. Let's look for a new place right now. Oh, and I'm going to tilt this so you guys can see this. Good. There we go. So they left the old place to look for a new one. This place looks nice, said Mr. Bird. Let's move in here. But somebody else had already moved in. Oh dear, it's an angry raccoon. So they looked at another house. This one looks nice, said Mr. Bird, and there's nobody in it. A shoe for a house. You're wrong, said Mrs. Bird. This house belongs to a foot. That's true. And it might be stinky, too. Ugh. So they went on looking. I like this one, said Mr. Bird. It has a pretty red flag on the roof. Now, that's not a birdhouse, is it? What is it? A mailbox. I've always wanted a house with a flag, said Mrs. Bird. Maybe this place will be all right. Do you have a flag on your house? But it was not all right. I guess I made a mistake, said Mr. Bird. You make too many mistakes, said Mrs. Bird. I'm going to pick the next house. And here it is, right here. Look, it's at the top of the church steeple, and there's a little hole up at the top. They flew in. They looked around. Isn't it too big? Asked Mr. Bird. I like this big place, said Mrs. Bird. This is the place to build our new nest. They went right to work. They needed many things to build their nest. First, they got some hay. This is funny. Wait till you see the things they get to build their nest. Did you know that birds use all different kinds of things to build their nest? You're going to see a lot of the things in our book are what birds actually use to build a nest. If a nest ever falls out of a tree, you can see it. And you can see all the different things that they use to build their nest. Or maybe if you have a nest by a window, you could peek out real careful and see. They got some soda straws and some broom straws. They got some sweater string. Oh boy, that man does not look happy about that. Oh, a little bird just went by. They got some stocking string. Stocking is another name for socks. And some mattress stuffing. They got some horse hair. They got some man hair. Soon they had all the hay, all the straw, and all the string, all the stuffing, all the horse hair, and all the man hair they could carry. They took it all back to build their nest. Ooh, they have a good collection. Mr. and Mrs. Bird worked very hard. It took them the rest of the morning to finish their nest. This nest is really the best, said Mrs. Bird. I want to stay here forever. Mr. Bird was very happy, too. He flew to the top of his house. He sang his song again. I love our house, I love our nest. In all the world, our nest is best. He was so busy singing, he didn't even see Mr. Parker coming. What do you think Mr. Parker's going to do? Every day at 12 o'clock, Mr. Parker came to the church. Mr. Parker came to pull a rope. The rope went up to the bird's new nest. The rope rang the bell right under Mr. Bird's nest. Bong, bong, bong. Oh no, that scared those poor birds. There's a lot of noises out here in my neighborhood. Mrs. Bird got out of there as fast as she could fly. Bong, 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 bong. There's that onomatopoeia word, right? Bong, that's another onomatopoeia word. My friends, did you know that when you hear a bell dinging, whether it be from a church or maybe a clock tower, however many times it dings, that's what time it is. So if it dings 4 times, what time is it? 4 o'clock. If it dings 11 times, what time is it? 11 o'clock. Right. Good job, friends. When Mr. Bird came in, all he could see was a mess of hay and string and stuffing and horsehair and manhair and straws. Where was Mrs. Bird? Oh no, where's Mrs. Bird? I will look for her until I find her, said Mr. Bird. He looked high. He looked low. He looked everywhere for Mrs. Bird. He looked down into a chimney, but Mrs. Bird wasn't there. He looked down into a water barrel, but Mrs. Bird wasn't there. Then he saw a big fat cat. There was a big fat smile on the cat's face. There were some pretty brown feathers near the cat's mouth. Oh no! Mr. Bird began to cry. Oh dear! This big fat cat has eaten Mrs. Bird. Oh no! Mr. Bird flew off. I'll never see Mrs. Bird again, he cried. It was getting dark. It began to rain. It rained harder and harder. Kind of like yesterday. Mr. Bird could not see where he was going. Ooh, the sun's coming out, friends. Crash! Ooh, another onomatopoeia word. Crash! Mr. Bird bumped into something. It was his old house. And that old house that Mrs. Bird hated. Oh, look at me. He's like, oh. I'll go inside, said Mr. Bird. I'll rest here until the rain stops. Mr. Bird went in, and there was Mrs. Bird, sitting there singing, I love my house, I love my nest, in all the world, this nest is best. I love my house too. Do you love your house? You here? Gasped Mr. Bird. Gasped means like this. Oh, I thought you hated this old nest. Let's see what she says. Mrs. Bird smiled. I used to hate it, she said, but a mother bird can change her mind. You see, there's no nest like an old nest for a brand new bird. Look, she's going to have a baby bird. Isn't that the sweetest? Oh. And when the egg popped open, the new bird thought so too. Oh, it's a little baby bird. Do you see it? Oh, isn't that a sweet book? The Best Nest. I love this story. You know, I'm wondering, what do you think makes your house great? I love my house. I love my neighborhood. I love my neighbors. I love my community. I love my backyard. I love my cozy family room. I love my kitchen. Type me a sentence about what you love about your house. What makes your house the best house for you? You know, a nest is just another name for a home. It's a home for birds, right? So maybe you could even tell me if you have any baby birds by your house or a nest by your house. So here are some options if you're one of my seesaw friends from school. Tell me what makes your house best for you. What is your favorite thing about your house? Or you can tell me about an experience that you had with a nest or baby birds. Oh, some more birds are flying by right now. Let's see if I can catch them for you to see. Let's see. Oh, nope, they flew off. They're right in the tree, right up here, right next to me. So if you would like to record yourself on a video, or if you want to send me an audio message, or you can even type me a little sentence in the comments. I hope you have a wonderful Monday and that you enjoyed the weekend, even though it was so rainy. It was a good day to do stuff inside. All right, my friends, have a great day. And of course, as always, I'm sending you all of my sunshine and all of my smiles. Bye.